best bites forever.
Hey everyone, it's Chef Alicia, and today I'm going to make Arroz con Gandule, which translates into rice with pigeon peas in English. The first thing that I'm going to start off with here is some achiote seeds, or annatto seeds in English, and I have a little bit of olive oil in there with them. That's what the container looks like when you're looking for your seeds. And you can also use canola oil to do this if you want, but I like to cook with olive oil, so there you go. And I put these on medium-high, and you're just kind of looking for bubbles. You see the little bubbles there? As soon as you see them, you want to drain this oil, because if you keep them on the stove for too long, those little seeds get really bitter, and then anything that you cook will also have kind of a bitter flavor to it. So as soon as you see the bubbles, take them off of the stove and drain them into a little glass or metal dish, because that oil is going to be hot. So now I'm going to move over here to my caldero, or a large heavy pot, and I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons-ish of that beautiful oil that I just made. You can see it has a nice kind of pinky tinge to it. It would be more pink if I used canola, but like I said, I like to cook with olive oil. And to that, I'm going to add 2 cups of sofrito, and then I'm going to also add like 15 to 20 olives, depending on how many olives you want to have when this is all done, and also a tablespoon of capers. Now, I don't add either of those things into my sofrito when I make it, so I like to add them into the individual recipe, but that's your call. Okay, so then I'm adding a little bit of salt, like a teaspoon of salt and maybe a half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. And I'm just going to stir that all together so that everything is evenly coated with the salt and pepper. And I'm going to leave this over here and let it cook for a few minutes until my sofrito starts to cook down a little bit. If you don't know how to make sofrito, you can go over to my video and check it out. The next thing I'm adding in here is a little bit of chorizo, and that was the package. This is a Spanish chorizo. It's not a Mexican chorizo. It's very important. They're two very different things. So I'm adding my Spanish chorizo in here, and I also want to make a note here that I don't always put this in my rice. I just happen to be in the mood for it tonight. So this is like a totally optional ingredient. If you don't want it in there, don't put it in there. Like I said, I don't even always put it in there, but tonight I'm in the mood, so in it goes. Next, I'm going to add 3 cups of brown rice, and you can also use white rice here if you'd like to. That is up to your preference, so totally up to you. And after you get your rice in there, give it a nice stir until everything is well combined. And then you're going to kind of cook it. It takes about a minute until your rice starts to get chalk spots, which I don't know if you can really tell on here because they're pretty teeny, but it kind of looks like somebody took a piece of white chalk and made tiny little marks on your rice. So that's what you're looking for to know that it's time to add the water. But like I said, it takes about a minute. So then I'm going to add 6 cups of water, and then I'm going to add my gandule, which are the pigeon peas, and I'm using 30 ounces altogether. I get them in this can like this. You can also buy them frozen or dried, whatever you want to do. And to that I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, 1 tablespoon of oregano, and a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, along with a tablespoon of kosher salt and about a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to stir that around a couple of times. Don't stir it a lot because you don't want to release a lot of starch in your rice. The next thing that I'm putting in there is a ham bone, and anytime I come across a ham bone, like if I make ham at home or whatever, I always take it and freeze it just for this purpose. And again, you don't have to use the ham if you don't want to. You can put a tiny bit of smoked sea salt, you can use fatback at the beginning, or bacon if you want that smoky flavor, which I do. I like the smoky flavor, so I put the ham bone in there. And then the next thing that I'm using is a banana leaf. The banana leaf is very important. Make sure it's touching the top of your liquid. I buy them frozen. This is what the package looks like. You may be lucky enough to have a banana tree in your yard, but I don't. So bring it up to a boil. Let the rice boil for about 15 minutes. What you're looking for is for the rice and the liquid to be at the same level. So see how if you look at the liquid, it's kind of right there touching the rice on top. So when you get to this point, fold it over 2 to 3 times, and you're going to be tempted to do it more, but don't, because again, you're going to end up with a sticky rice if you fold it around and you stir it and you keep messing with it. We don't want sticky rice here. We want our rice to be nice and separate when it's all finished. Put your banana leaf back on top, and this time put your lid on also. Reduce your heat to low, which is very important, or you're going to have burnt rice. And this is going to cook for 25 to 35 minutes, and this really depends on your stove. So you're just going to have to check it. And what you're looking for is the rice should be dry, obviously. All of the liquid should be gone. And if you kind of scooch the rice over on the bottom, you should be getting a little bit of pigeon down there, which is basically caramelized rice. So you should be getting this beautiful layer of browning rice on the bottom. You don't want it to be black or burnt, but just kind of golden brown. So my husband's going to flip it out for me because it's pretty heavy. I do a lot of rice when I do it. I have a big family, so this is going to make like 20 servings. You can totally cut the recipe if you want, but you can see my beautiful pigeon down there. And there is a little bit more on the bottom of the pot, which is very yummy. It comes off easily with a rubber spatula if you used a non-stick pot, which I did. And if you didn't use non-stick, then you can just scrape it off anyway. But as you can see, it's golden brown. There's no burnt rice underneath, and this is really what you're looking for. If you would like this recipe or any of my others, please join me on my website, bestbitesforever.com. Thank you for watching, and happy cooking, everyone.
bestbitesforever.com